You're listening to Soho Radio. It's Georgie Rogers Music Discovery. And I would love to welcome to the show Julia-Sophie, previous guest on Zoom, which is when, we connected in the pandemic, basically, and we've never met in real life. And here you are, fresh down from Oxford, to come and chat. So, hey, welcome to the show, and thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
It's so nice to see you.
It is.
So
really nice.
Yeah. Obviously, the debut album, Forgive Too Slow, we get that end of July on Bada Bing Records. So, firstly, how are you? How's everything? And it's exciting, isn't it, now, in the build-up to releasing the record?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm kind of having the highs and lows of what a release means and does, and expectations and disappointments and excitement and moments. So it feels like a bit of a roller coaster. But ultimately, it's all going really well.
Good.
Thanks.
What was the journey of making this record? Because obviously, you've put out a couple of EPs. We've been chatting over the course of the EPs. You've done some remixes for people. You've done all sorts over the last 4 years, really. But at what point did you start making this record, and how did it come together?
So I started making the record, kind of thinking about making a record after having made the EPs, because I released 3 EPs.
Yes. Really,
and then I thought, that's okay. Then I thought, I need to consolidate myself now. I need to do an album like EPs. I've done EPs now, so that was it really. It wasn't kind of more complicated than that, but the EPs were like more about kind of figuring out my sound and experimenting and trying things. And then once I'd kind of done that, I thought I kind of knew myself a bit more, and I was ready to do a full length piece of work. So did that. It took about a year to make. I was kind of going back and forth to Brighton, working with my friend in the studio, and it took a while, and it takes a while to write songs, to figure it all out. So and then I guess I never thought I was going to release it. That's another thing, because I just kind of gave up because I couldn't find a record label, and I just thought, I don't want to do it by myself. I kind of wanted some kind of outside validation. Like, I didn't want it to be my own thing. Like, I had this firm belief that if I was to release it, it would be not just my own kind of ego or my own, I don't know, like, I know that's great to have that self-belief and do it yourself, but I felt like I just needed more. I wanted support, and I didn't want to be by myself. So that took a bit of a while. I didn't really have loads of luck, but I did and I didn't. I just didn't really know what to do, and ended up just putting it in my dropbox. And then one day got an email from Bada Bing, who were like, let's do this. I love this record. So it's really thanks to Bada Bing, and it was really quick. Like, I didn't expect it to. It's been in my Dropbox for about a year, I think, and then...
Had you sent it to them then?
I sent it to them probably about 8 months prior to that. I had a few conversations. There were some other labels, and then some other labels came and went. It was kind of... I don't know, I just thought, this is never going to happen, and got on with my life, and then it suddenly changed.
Yeah, it sort of came back.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean about that, when you're sort of being a lone ranger almost, and just having to do everything yourself in music, when, it's been a tough few years for that, and just feeling like, I just need a little bit of support or people to be behind it to sort of just take the pressure off in a way. But during this time as well, didn't you went and you just like, I'm going to do some psychotherapy training, and you went back to school, didn't you, as well?
Yeah, so basically I decided to give up music altogether, really.
It's funny, it's like always like when you're like, right, I'm done, it's over.
I'm done.
And there's no sort of like big fanfare or something, and then you're just like, right, I'm going to put my energy into something else, and then it weirdly, it's always the way, isn't it?
I don't know. Maybe I should have given up sooner. I spent years working so hard. I did. I decided that I just reached a point where I just needed something else in my life, in future, support, career, and that, and also something about self-worth, like being constantly rejected. Eventually, you just, even though I've done some great things, like you just feel it's really bad for your mental health. You just feel terrible. I felt terrible about myself, my self-worth. So I just kind of, I started doing a master's in psychotherapy, so it's like a 5-year training. And I've just completed my 3rd year.
Amazing.
So, and actually, the Bada Bing email literally landed in my inbox the day after I handed in my last assignment for the 3rd year. And I thought, oh, well, I've got nothing. I haven't got an assignment, so this is like a perfect time to release a record.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the universe did its thing.
Yeah.
And it's great. And I'm really proud of it. Like, actually, I'm really proud, and I'm so happy that it's coming out. Because, like I said, it could have just been left dormant, so I do feel really lucky.
And it's a great record. I've heard bits of it, but I think I heard an earlier incarnation, but obviously we've heard the first 2 tracks that you've put out into the world, one being Numb and one being Telephone, 2 quite different tracks. Very different. Numb is your sort of big electronic techno almost, like Kelly Lee Owens, or kind of like that kind of, pounding beats track. And then Telephone is like this gorgeous, gooey, synth-led sad banger.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Which I guess is sort of like the 2 different sides of you. We're going to play Numb first, but tell me a little bit about, I guess, like the different layers to the album and making something that was a journey as a record, but also didn't just show one side of you, the Numb side of you or the Telephone side.
Oh, well, I've always had songs in my kind of bones. Like, I've always loved writing classic songs with verse, chorus, melody, bridge. It's like where my roots lie, because I was originally in a band in the 90s. No, I was not that old, maybe in the 90s. I can't remember. But, that's where my roots are, proper rock and roll, write a song on guitar, verse, chorus, So that's always been a part of, like, how I will approach any song. Like, so I guess Telephone is like that part of me, and then Numb is like more the electronic side, is like me trying to integrate kind of songs into electronic music, and also the end experimenting with shape and form and songs and what you can do in electronic music, which is just amazing. So yeah, I've kind of like tried to blend a little bit of both. That's kind of what I try and do.
Yeah. And you're working in a studio in Brighton. You're based in Oxford, but Brighton. And this is where you've worked throughout for the whole 3 EPs as well, right? Is there a friend in Brighton that you make music with? Yeah.
So,
and then is it like, what's the setup? Is it just this like tiny room with loads of kit and you just go wild and you both just sort of play almost and see what comes out?
Yeah, I mean, I generally start everything in Oxford. Like, I generally sketch the songs on my guitar, on a synth, with a gentle beat, and then I'll take them over to Brighton. My friend's got a kind of... We met making... I used to write French songs for, like, ads and things like that, and we used to work together, and then we started to get to know each other. I used to spill my heart out, and then I'd become crying, and I'd be like, I've got this song, I just need to record it. And then we kind of formed, I guess, like a really good friendship and alliance. And so now that's how we kind of work together. I bring stuff, I cry, we have a cup of tea, and then I kind of go, I've got this song, and then I try and kind of so we sketch it out, and it'll go through all sorts of kind of formations. But his studio is basically full. The reason why I fell in love with it is like floor to the ceiling, full of kind of analog synths and drum machines, and you can see it on my Instagram. I'm usually like photobombing the synths, and people leaving comments like, I hate it when people photobomb synths. It's like, well, sorry about that. Sorry, synth. Sorry, guys. I've hurt your feelings. So maybe I should post. Maybe I'd get more views. Actually, I just post pictures of the synths without me in it. So
I love it. All the music, the sort of like the muso. I don't want to say nerds, but the pedantic music. Yeah. Can you just get out? I want to see what that synth in the middle is that your arm's blocking.
Exactly.
Classic. So that's sort of where it all the latter stages where it sort of comes together then.
Yeah.
Let's play Numb. Can you tell us a little bit? Oh, you've touched on it, but can you tell us anything about this, or how the seed of inspiration came about, how the track started layering up? Or...
Well, there's a video to it. You can kind of see it's where I'm kind of falling apart,
You're on the beach, aren't you? And
I'm on the beach, drinking a lot of Corona, taking a lot of, smoking sometimes, let's say.
Is it sort of like existential crisis?
I think it's like emotional, existential, past traumas all me in one song, and trying to kind of process and get stuff out and express myself. But had a tough time and really feeling it. So I just kind of try and be as, I don't try, I only kind of ever really write when I really feel something. So all of it is very real. That's numb, really. And it's kind of self-explanatory. You get to the point where you just feel numb. There you go.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
There you go.
So this is Julia-Sophie, my live guest on this month's Music Discovery, and this is Numb from her new album, Forgive Too Slow, out on the 28th of July. So this is Numb by Julia-Sophie, my live guest on Soho Radio this month, and she's joining me in the studio. I mean, we were talking just before, you were sort of saying like how you go into the studio and it's sort of like a bit of an outpouring. Like often tears or whatever. It's just when you're processing stuff. And your music is really personal, and I think definitely these two tracks are very personal. So I'm wondering, the way that you turn like pain into something really beautiful and relatable, like what's your relationship with it as the time moves in? We move through these emotions and stuff, and then obviously like you'll come to play them months after you've written them, or even like maybe a year after you've written the record. What's your relationship with that sort of cathartic outpouring of how you felt at the time?
Wow. Sometimes it's harder to relate because I feel like I've moved on. And sometimes I really feel that I am still like really tuning into that time, and I can feel it, and I still feel as emotional as I did back when I wrote it. I don't know why that is. It kind of, I guess like it kind of stays as a body memory somehow, maybe. And also it was poignant times. It's like a bit like having events that are important to you that you remember. I guess I relate to these as kind of like stepping stones or points that I remember in my life. So I always feel quite connected to it. Yeah.
That doesn't sort of drift too much. There'll be moments where it's like a sensory thing, maybe.
Yeah. Where I still feel emotional. My gigs can be quite intense, actually. I'm quite intense. I have extremes. I can be very fun and light, and I can be very intense. Maybe, I kind of channel that bit mostly in my music, the intensity. Yeah, that's where I channel it. I'm not like, I don't walk around being, actually I can be really intense. I did apparently scare a hairdresser once very much. I gave her really evil eyes. I wasn't sure about the haircut, which apparently, I can be quite intense.
I think anyone would give a hairdresser a bit of an intense stare if they'd given. Have you seen Fleabag?
I mean, I have seen Fleabag.
You know where the sister she goes to the haircut and she gets like the asymmetric, and it's literally the worst haircut ever, and it's the funniest scene ever.
I need to watch it.
Yeah,
okay.
And we're all very. If I go to the hairdresser and they cut off more than what I've said, or they give me a bob, it's like there's not a lot of love in the room in that moment.
No,
and you'd be like, no, don't take 2 inches is fine.
No, not 3. I didn't say 3. No, so gosh, poor hairdressers.
You said that James Blake's been quite a big influence on you, just in terms of like being an artist, I suppose, being authentic. So can you talk a bit about that?
His voice.
Yeah.
His voice just moves me. It moves millions of people.
Yeah.
It just seems to, and it's kind of like, he does voice on electronic music, and that was kind of one of the first things I heard. I mean, I didn't really listen to much electronic music, so I was kind of listening to Art School Girlfriend at the beginning.
Previous guest on the show.
Yeah, there you go. She's a legend. I really loved her early, her new records are great as well, but the early kind of EP stuff was really inspiring, and like early Japanese house and Tom York's solo work, and then James Blake. Just the voice, the emotion, it just moves me, and that's what I wanted to try and do, but in kind of my own way, I guess.
Yeah.
My voice is not like James Blake's. So.
I mean, he's so amazing at melody and bringing that to the music. It's every time I hear a new song from him, I'm just like, wow. Yeah. I don't know. He makes it look easy. It's really, really not easy.
No, it's not easy. I think he would make Happy Birthday sound amazing when he sings that. Like, I would just probably melt if he sang Happy Birthday to me.
He could read the phone book.
He could read the phone book and sing the phone book.
Yeah, sing it.
With some beats, and it would probably sound amazing.
And it would probably win a Mercury Prize.
Yeah.
And then talk to me a little bit more about what the psychotherapy... you've been studying and you've been doing a degree and you've kind of gone back to do that, and obviously psychotherapy is a whole process, right? I've heard it's very much like you have to become a psychotherapist, you have to bear everything yourself first and go through that raw.
You can see it on my face.
That raw process.
You've heard, whoever you've spoken to has expressed it very well to you.
Yeah, but it's so what's that done for your music, or for yourself?
Where do I start? I think a lot of the searching, I think in my previous music, I didn't really know who I was or how I was trying to find an identity, and I was kind of, I guess, adopting a kind of other things and it's like trying different clothes on and seeing if they fit, and then one day you try this jumper on and you're like, this is me, this is who I am.
Yeah.
So I think with the therapy, I think it's really helped me find a voice and given me the confidence to express myself as me, rather than kind of how I imagine someone going through something might express themselves. Now it's just like, this is me expressing myself. So I'm not kind of, it's more, I feel more authentic. The process has, I think therapy has really helped me, obviously. Like, I've had to learn undoing myself weekly and daily in various different ways. The therapy is it kind of comes at you from every angle, and it's a lot of work. Yeah. So I've done 3 years now, so got another 2. I mean, it's a long process.
Hardcore.
It's hardcore.
Half a decade of just...
Yeah. It's like waves on a beach. It's like waves. They just don't stop. They just keep coming. You know, when you're swimming in the sea. Yeah. And you just want to break. Yeah. Well, with the training, it's like that. It just there's no break. It just keeps coming at you. Yeah. It's I feel really blessed. I mean, I feel really lucky to be learning again. Anybody out there who's ever thinking of starting again or changing career, like, go for it. It's just so, like, nourishing. Yeah. I'm learning about so much, and I feel like I've got a whole different perspective on the world and life and people, and have more. I kind of feel more enriched. You know, I just love it. I feel really lucky to be doing it.
Yeah. And at what point do you start working with other people and starting to be a therapist for them? Are you at that point now where you're starting to do that, or?
Yeah, I've done 2 years already with clients.
Oh, so you're thrown in actually doing the therapy work as a therapist.
Yeah,
early.
Your second year you start a placement, and you work. Yeah, you start working with clients, and you slowly build your kind of. I guess you start slowly seeing more clients and. Different kinds of clients, so it's the clinical hours. You have to kind of meet a certain amount of hours before you qualify, right? And you get supervision. You have to take your clients to supervision, and you kind of get supervised. So you get a lot of input whilst you're writing academic essays and reading and doing so CPD training and personal therapy. It never ends. Yeah. But I love it. I'm running back to Oxford tonight to work with my clients. Yeah. Yeah.
How interesting. Actually, have you seen that show Couples Therapy? Did you ever watch that?
I loved it.
I think it was on the BBC,
yes.
I think.
Couples Therapy.
Loved it. I binged it I watched literally, I was like, this is so good. I need to know what happens. Like over the course, it's essentially a therapist working with various different couples, and they've filmed the sessions and a bit of backstory about each of the couples. But oh my God, I loved it. I wish there was more. Like,
I hope they're going to bring more. I loved it too.
Yeah.
Couples therapy, I mean, that's a whole nother level, working with couples.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't yet know how to start with that.
Yeah.
But, I think I've got modules on couples therapy and fourth year. Yeah.
Okay.
So I look forward to that.
Yeah. And then let's play Telephone, and then we'll say a quick goodbye after that. But yeah, talk to me about Telephone. It's so dreamy. The synths on this are just gooey. They make me go gooey.
Oh,
love it.
Gooey Georgie.
It's a sad banger. It's like crying on the dance floor banger, isn't it?
It's a sad banger. That's my niche. Sad, as long as it's got the word sad in it. Yeah. I guess I wrote a series of kind of popish songs at a phase in my writing, and I wasn't sure like how that was going to fit with the kind of other electronic stuff, because I kind of didn't want to show that side of me too soon, because then I was like, how am I going to go back into kind of being an authentic, experimental, I did the muso thing. I need some muso respect, I guess. I don't know if I got it, but that's what I tried to do. And then, and then go into the kind of more straight pop kind of vibe song, which I love. But yeah, I didn't want it to be everything I did, so I kind of held it back a little bit. Yeah. And now that I'm basically have nothing left to give and nothing left to lose, I thought I'd release it. Yeah. Here I am.
And here you are. And I noticed as well, there's a new video for this. Is it Siobhan Cox again?
Siobhan.
She's basically worked with Julia for the whole thing. And she's got such a phenomenal eye, and it's always very cool and analog, like Super 80 vibes, or, she's this film, doesn't she? It's all on film, isn't it?
So a lot of our stuff is shot on film.
Yeah,
this Telephone video was actually shot in one take.
Wow.
On film.
Yeah.
So we kind of rehearsed the moves in the chip shop for like 3 times until the chip shop guy was like, can you hurry up now?
Yeah.
And
I've got fish and chips.
And customers are waiting outside. So we shot it in one take. There was you can't even see what you're shooting. She kind of looked through it. Hopefully it's in focus kind of vibes. But no, she did an amazing job, which she always does. And so we have a music video for Telephone, which is the one take wonder on film to accompany the track, which is cool. And yeah, I've been really lucky, because these days all the music you release has to have some sort of visual, or one has to have visuals. That's really hard if you're not like supported in that. So I was really lucky to have her work with me, and she kind of she lived the songs, she understood what I was doing, she believed in it, and she gave me all her time and creative input, support. So yeah, I'm really, again, I was really lucky to have that support.
Yeah. And the chip shop reference will make total sense if you're new to Julia-Sophie's work, and we play it now.
Yes.
And a little bit more chat with Julia-Sophie after this. This is Telephone. So that is the sound of Telephone. Julia-Sophie is the artist you need to get to know. And it's been so nice having you in. I mean, what a crazy thing. It was so funny. I think I just remember it in lockdown, the first lockdown. I was on my own in the house for 2.5 months. Oh, yeah. Because my brother was helping my mum and dad out. So I was like just literally alone. Oh my gosh. I was going out of my mind. And I remember it now. It was like a nice sunny day. And then I just got a little message in the inbox from you being like, hey, can I send you this track, Breathe? And I felt instantly in love with it. And we've supported
me
ever since.
Well, you gave me an email to send it to Six Music, so you were very supportive. And I remember saying, it's Friday, should I wait till Monday or something? You said, no, just get on with it.
Send it. Do it.
Send it. I was like, okay.
Yeah. I'm so glad I've been able to help in some ways across the last few years and support it, because I really think, I'm so excited for this album for you. I think It's really good, and I'm really glad that it's just not lingering on a Dropbox till the end of time.
I was just going
People
to
need it in their lives.
close that Dropbox. I'm done.
Yeah.
Julia-Sophie is closed.
Yeah.
It's closed, broken down forever.
And then are you gonna do any live? I mean, I know that this is sort of you're putting the album out, but are there any plans to do a bit more live stuff? And
yeah, I actually announced a couple of shows just earlier. I'm doing, because I did think, I put all my music stuff in storage. Honestly, I was like done. I put all in storage. I'd finished. I didn't even know how to play anything anymore. And then I thought, oh, come on, Jules, stop being so moody. You've got an album coming out. You should celebrate it. So I am actually doing 2 shows. One in Oxford and one in London. If you're around.
Yeah, where's the London one?
So 31st of July at Dalston, Victoria.
Oh, amazing!
Victorian?
That's a great pub with a back like a cool live venue back room. Yeah.
Okay. So 31st.
Yeah.
Put it in your diaries.
Yeah, everyone put it in.
No
diaries.
excuses.
No.
Might be the last time I ever play. And then the 25th of July in Oxford at a place called Common Ground.
Yeah.
And I've got Maria Iser playing with me in London, and a lady called, and I think is it Garden Centre, and then also in Oxford Jen Burkova playing. So that should be a good night. And then I'm going to do a little truck in store. In the local record store on the 3rd of August, and then I'm going to go on holiday.
Yes. Oh, I'm all about the holidays. Where are you going to go?
Ooh, I'm going to go to France.
Yes,
I'm going to go to France, and I'm going to just eat saucisson and baguette and drink lots of wine.
Well, that sounds dreamy, and you deserve it. You
Thanks.
deserve a good holiday and a good break.
Thank you.
Julia-Sophie, thank you so much for coming in. I think I'm just going to play Breathe, because why not?
Oh, that's I'm so happy.
Yeah.
That's so kind.
So
nice.
it's like this is the beginning of a friendship, and such a great track. It still sounds so good.
Thank you so much for having me. I love getting out of Oxford. Please, can I just stay here forever?
You can. You're more than welcome.
Okay, thanks.
Although we might get out of the studio because it's a little hot in here.
It is a little hot. It's raining outside.
Julia-Sophie, thank you so much.
Take care. Bye.